You know, and shout out to our biggest bro Mose. He has been so good to us. Executive producer of this show, and he's going to invest very soon. And let me run a quick shout out to one of our super fan. She's been a friend of this show. Her name is Nike Fano. She's from the state Nigerian American. Shout out to you, Nike, and to who again? What to shout out to?
Original Bay, Alice.
Original Bay, Tanzania connection.
Yes, sir.
And shout out to Shola too. Shola Fano, LA connection.
Shout out to you, Original Bay.
Original Bay, Alice. Stop killing us with those essay, man. So
I love it, man. I love it. Like it really takes a lot. Like she put a lot of time in.
Keep it up. I think we most of our fan, like our super fan, are the females.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the conversations we're gonna have tonight is probably gonna be a little bit like, let's see what you guys think. Actually, though, yeah, I think there's something we actually have to pick out from female response to what we're gonna talk about.
So since most of our super fan are female, so we have to support your interest anyway. So we are for the females.
It's not really like support their interest in the sense that.
No, I'm just kidding. No way.
It's just more a convergence of ideas and see how it goes.
So what do we have today? I have to talk about.
The Grammys, Big Brother Nigeria is out.
Big Brother Nigeria is out.
It's back. Then there's this whole drama on Twitter, Nigeria, man. Fuck. There's always dramas every week. Trust me. We always got something coming.
There is Black Twitter and there is Nigeria Twitter. I don't know which one is more savage.
That's fact. There's Black Twitter and there's Nigerian Twitter.
Nigerian Twitter, I think, is like
it's a war zone,
slaughterhouse.
It's a war
slaughterhouse.
Like, you get your feelings hurt. Like you got
straight up,
demented
straight up
opinions and views coming at you. So it's crazy out there.
And I think most of the Twitter fingers are the females too. They are savage as fuck.
You know, like
they come straight at you.
Like one day call we say like stay away from the war zone. That's a war zone, man.
No, man. I'm trying to I can't be running Facebook regularly and still be on Twitter, still be on Instagram. I'm trying to like reduce.
That's how you gotta do it when we want. Like I've done away with Facebook.
You're out of Facebook, but
2017. So
most of my friends are on Facebook, and most of the things are read out on Facebook. So
I think
quite difficult for me to.
For me, the first thing that actually got me really kind of pissed about Facebook is the chain messages that people just keep sharing on Facebook. So I can't really stand it. So I just felt like I'm out of here. And that's not really the same thing with Twitter. It's just a retweet. And
what I'm doing right now about the chain messages is like if I see you sharing most of it all the time, I just unfollow you. So I don't have to say those bullshit all the time. Yeah, I just unfollow you. So whatever you're doing is your own shit.
Yeah, that works. But for me, it's just too much. Like Twitter, Facebook, then Instagram.
Yeah, it's way too much. I know. Yeah. I don't have so much friends. I don't have so much followers on Twitter, so I'm just gradual. Do you know I've been using Twitter for like 8 years? You found my old
old account, right? Twitter account, man.
But I was like, at the point I was like, no, this Twitter is too messy for me. I can't keep up with the things that happening there. So what do we have?
Oh yeah, let's talk about Kendrick, man.
Kendrick, 5 out of 7, man. 5 out of 7 Grammy.
Kenny. Yeah.
He deserved it. But I think there is one Grammy I really wanted him to win, but I don't know what happened.
Which one is that?
Album of the Year, man.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
He got robbed. Like I was watching Imbro in the morning and there's like, Bruno Mars, he won the Album of the Year.
Yeah.
And his album is actually like more of like the idea behind the whole album is not original.
Okay.
It's more like a cover. Like because like the sample and the most of the tracks is like a remix of other people's songs.
Yeah. He did a lot of sampling and shit on
and there was like Kendrick deserved this award, but I think Jay-Z 444 would have won that award because he came out really different. Like not the whole we used to know. Like he's like in a very higher level, like higher stage, and what he was talking about in the whole album was like is good for hip hop. And it's very good for the younger age. It was like talking about your bank, how you invest the money, like all this grow up shit.
It's just part of the message that Dr. Umar and this Killer Mike has been trying to send to the black community about being able to build wealth. And I kind of get that sense that that's what, like, Jay-Z sees the bigger picture, right? So that's what he's trying to preach. But personally, I kind of see it in a way that the Grammys want to, in a way, appeal to a certain base that you can't just come up with an album where, like, a bigger part of it is more about you admitting to cheating on your wife. And then you just want to win a Grammy for coming out. So I kind of get it from that side. That's more like a conspiracy theory, though, from some certain
people,
that's one reason he didn't win. And for me, I think I relate with that. If that's the reason he didn't win the album of the year, I kind of relate with that because you can't just come out and just sell it out like that and you just expect people to like applaud you and you win a Grammy for cheating on your wife. Like, you still got to pay for it.
Dude, it takes courage to cheat and come out to talk about it. It's not every guy that can do that.
But he's making money from doing that.
Yeah, I know. But, and again, Grammy is like most of the people that vote, right, about most of the, in hip-hop section, most of them doesn't even understand the genre, right? They have little knowledge about hip-hop. So they just vote based on popularity. They vote based on music. They don't give a shit about the message. It's not all about the message. It's not all about the production. It's how often your music get played by the radios, or how people can, like Bruno Mars, both young, middle age, and everybody can just relate to it.
The thing is, we know, like, it's two different genres, right? It's like hip hop versus pop.
Pop, yeah.
Or rap versus pop. And take it or leave it any day, pop has more listeners than hip hop.
Yeah.
So
confirmed.
Hip hop is more like black culture, right?
But more like, come to think of it, like this year, as of last year and this year, hip hop is the most popular genre in the entire music. Take over jazz, like hip-hop, in America. I mean, in America,
actually getting bigger, especially when you have these white rappers who are actually getting into the game, right? So it kind of blurs that line between being a black culture and being a mainstream culture. But at the same time, you still have to like figure out that pop will still always be over hip hop for a while, because if you look at
popularity wise,
if you look at the last time that a hip hop album have actually won this is like maybe in the early 2000s. So it's been like 13 years that a hip hop album has actually won album of the year. So I get the feeling that a lot of people actually appeal to Bruno Mars because he's pop and they can actually work a lot more. Like DJs can actually work a lot more. With
most of the song get play more in the club.
Exactly. So
on the radio, 24 karat something K was that song was like everywhere.
Definitely.
It doesn't really matter if the message is not really making sense, but
like for me, I'm not outraged about it. I just feel like he deserves it too. So it was, for me, between either Bruno Mars or Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I was even hoping Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, but then it came down to
the album of the year.
A genre that's more acceptable and that's more popular.
And it came down to people who are voting too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with all of that being said, I think he deserves it. So
we're not taking, not to take anything away from Bruno Mars. He worked hard. He is a very talented singer and a dancer too, right? But to me, as a hip hop fan, I will always go with the hip hop.
Hell yeah, like Kung Fu Kenny, man.
I think Kendrick deserved that award. But I think the whole Grammy Award, the way they give the giving out of the award, only one female won out of the major nominees. Only one female, man.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's kind of...
Yeah, but though Kendrick and Rihanna won one, so...
That is Kendrick and it's not
Rihanna.
It's not Rihanna.
Yeah, she still won it too, because once you're nominated, then you guys will won. So
yeah, the best new artist was like Alicia Cara. Yeah, I don't know what happened to
I was thinking Khalid.
Khalid.
Yeah, I was thinking Khalid. For me, I was thinking Khalid because, man, when he actually came out and I listened to, I think, 3 of his really mainstream songs. And I was like, this kid is good. And he's good.
He's just 19 years old. Yeah, so, he's really young.
Yeah, he's really good for his age and the kind of music he's producing and shit. So,
but I think Caesar deserved that thing too because that album was like nobody expected. Like we hope it's gonna be like normal female album and just came out from nowhere. I'm like,
that's really. She had really good songs on her album too, right?
All the whole song. Like I love the entire album.
Great production from TDE, but
I love the entire album.
Take it or leave it. TDE is always, they are champions.
Come on, man. So, TDE can never go wrong.
So they are champions anyway.
TDE can never go wrong. And Sa album is already out. I've heard one track, but I haven't heard the entire album. And I think Sa is gonna be like, he's gonna be another kid from TDE that's gonna be like, wow.
Yeah, sure. And they're going on their champions tour. But I don't really know what's up with Isaiah Rashad because
me too. Like the last time he's not.
I love that dude, so I don't know why he's not on the top.
He's not on the top. Probably he's working on his album or something. So I hope he's not dropped. But I tried to find the news about that. I couldn't find anything. So definitely he's just like on some low key doing his shit. I hope he's not dropped, man.
I love Isaiah, man.
I hope he's not dropped from
he's not being dropped from the label because people been asking like, yo, what's up with Isaiah? Why you guys leave Isaiah out of?
Yeah, from the tour, no, he's not there.
Because he would actually also have helped his career.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I was searching everywhere on the internet, man. What happens that? But nothing really comes out. So
yeah, let's hope
we just have to hope.
Top, man.
He's still with top. Yeah. So what else do we have to talk about? Talk about Grammy.
Yeah, Big Brother Nigeria
is back. But so sad we will not be watching because we don't know how to watch from Asia.
From the abroad.
We don't know. So if you guys have a link where we can just bootleg it, just like send it to us, man. We don't care.
You really want to bootleg it? Like you want to promote illegal stuff
Why
on this
not?
podcast? No, man.
Dude, there's no way we can watch it. So how are we supposed to watch?
Personally, I'm not a fan of
I know there's no online platform where you can just buy something, log in and watch even though like we watch all the episode, but now there's no way we can watch it. So there's nothing bad with bootlegging it.
I don't really know.
I've never watched any of them.
I've never really watched it.
Even Big Brother Africa, I started watching Big Brother Africa like 10 years ago.
I've never really watched any.
I watched it when I was back home.
I don't do it because I just feel it's so much fiction. So I don't really buy the idea of reality TV, and so I'm not really gonna be talking about why I don't like it. But I just don't like it. I don't relate with it. It doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah, that is reasonable though. Like I stopped watching those stuff too. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Just like watching a bunch of guys. And the thing is, like, do you know the entire thing is scripted?
I don't know. I'm not really interested in
it's scripted, man. Scripted.
Yeah, like
from the first day they know who's gonna win.
For now, I think there's been a lot of dramas on Twitter about this guy Tolu and Nina. Those are the guys I've been hearing a lot more about.
From the Big Brother Nigeria.
Yeah, from Big Brother Nigeria. And I heard like a lot of the guys on this year's series are kind of really cute guys. So I don't know how true it is. Dude, I've not watched it.
Do you know the problem I have with Nigerians? And guys, stop commenting on my Facebook photo. Cute. I'm not cute, and I don't want to be cute. Stop saying that. The fuck is wrong with you guys? Guys can never be cute. I'm not cute, and I'm not beautiful too. I can't. God, you guys, you really have to stop it, man. Man, point of correction. Stop saying cute when you're talking about guys, man. I don't want to hear that. It makes me feel so bad.
That's what it's not my opinion.
Okay, from what you read on Twitter.
Like, I've not really seen them. So it's just what I've seen. Like, I've seen a lot about Nina and Tolu, and they say, the guys on this year's...
I'm just going to check their photos now.
These guys' house are really cute.
I'm going to check their photos.
And they're more... handsome and more beautiful than women or whatever. I don't really know, so I don't really do Big Brothers. And I've like there's been a couple of issues coming out from this whole thing that it's a Nigerian thing. Then why go have it in South Africa?
That is one of the my own problem with the whole thing.
Very legit issue, and also on the other side, there's been a lot going back home in the country. Like there's been a lot of problems in the government, and the government has not really been responding to the yearnings of the citizens. There's been a lot. We've actually talked about ending SARS on this program, and there's been a lot of police brutality, and at the same time, there's been corruption because we expected this government to be able to tackle corruption. At the same time, there has been a shift in the political landscape, especially when Obasanjo's letter came out. So with all of these being said and all the things that's been going on, people just felt like these Big Brother Nigeria coming up at this time distracts us from all
the real issue, right?
From the real issues, especially bordering on the fact that the next election comes up in maybe a year's time. So we're actually getting into the time of political campaigns that people need to actually focus on the issues. And now we have Big Brother actually diverting the attentions of the youth from the issues at hand. So people talking about that, and I think it's really legit because we actually have much more things going on in the country that are worrisome that we should be talking about, instead of fantasizing ourselves with a reality TV show that's actually being heard outside.
But don't you think there is another way of consoling Nigeria? Like, we're just gonna let you focus on that, and we do some bullshit things around the government.
That's the same thing that a couple of activists have been saying, that at this point in time, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Especially because right now the youths are the people everyone is looking forward to. That if the youths actually vote en masse for a candidate that we believe can actually change the status quo, then the country might be better starting from next year. But now the youths that are expected to be more politically engaged are becoming more engaged
into reality shows,
with reality TV shows, and not really caring about what's happening. So, but some people make the other argument that sometimes we just need to get away from the reality of what's happening back home, which I cannot get. Because it's gotten to a point where it's so frustrating, and
people can't handle it anymore.
We just need a break. People just need a break, and if the reality TV show presents that break, Big Brother Nigeria present that break from reality, then so be it. That's just the argument a couple of people be coming up with. But for me, I'm actually far from the reality, but at the same time, my family is there. So, and I know the things that are going wrong in the society there, and I feel we should be more focused on the issues that are happening because it affects every goddamn person.
But the another thing is, like, most of our youth, they don't want to involve deeply into politics. They just want some area father, godfather during the election, just give them money. Like they are just after the money. They are not after the solution.
I can't actually blame the youth because the system has been designed not to favor the youth. Because for you to be able to actually campaign in Nigeria, you have to belong to a political party, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't have independent candidacy. It doesn't work that way in Nigeria. And for you to belong to a political party, right, you also need the funding to be able to actually contest an election. And you can't contest against these big political parties because they have the money, they have the thugs, they have the corrupt officers working for them. Yeah. So it's really hard to actually wrestle power from the incumbents that are already in the system. But at the same time, I still believe the activism of the youth can help change the paradigm.
That's fact.
So it just takes a little bit of momentum, and that's what I think a lot of people have been gathering so far. The youths are gathering momentum, and I love the way it is now.
I think we just have to, with time, trust me, in 5-6 years' time, I think the youth will fully wake up.
Definitely. I believe the APC government right now sees the moves that the youth are making, in the sense that everybody who is of legal voting age are trying to get their PVC ready for the elections, right? And knowing fully well that a lot of the youths may vote against the incumbent government for either the opposition or a new coalition government that comes up that the people relate more with, then the government might actually hit with the fear factor, whereby people have their PVCs, but they can't actually go to the polling units and vote because of thugs. So I think that's one thing I'm actually really looking forward to seeing if it happens. Because I believe at this point, they already know that there's already a shift.
Yeah, the time is coming. It's just like with time.
Just like the wrestle power from the PDP, there is a party who's going to wrestle power from them if they can get the youths involved. So then how do we demoralize the youths? Is what I believe the APC is probably working towards. Is that we have fifth columnists within the youth organizations and within the coalition that actually help destroy this movement or the momentum from inside, or we actually make it impossible for people to go out and vote. And for the past few years that I've voted, right, I think I voted in 2011. And also, I was of legal voting age in 2007. Yes, 2007 was the first time I was supposed to vote. I already got my voting card and everything. But there was so much military officers everywhere that my uncle warned everybody not to go out. So that way, within our household, people didn't vote in 2007 because of the fear factor that those military officers were intimidating people, and they were actually shooting to scare people away because there were a lot of vote rigging going on at that point. Then in 2011, when I was back home in Ayetoro, we could vote, but it didn't count. Because when the votes were being taken back to the coalition centers,
you don't know what happens to it.
It got stolen.
Yeah.
So the two times that I've had to vote, that I've been in the country to vote, my first time I didn't vote, second time I vote didn't count.
I voted once, but I was paid to vote.
Exactly. So that's also
that was the first time.
And also that's like also a factor that
2004 or 2003.
But I feel like
probably 2009. I don't know. It was
with the way things are right now in the country. I don't really think a lot of people are going to get paid to vote, and they're going to vote for who
they pay for. Yeah.
Because
and I did the same thing. I got paid to vote, but I voted for somebody different.
I think in student politics, I did that a lot on campus back home in Nigeria, where people give you gifts and money to pay to vote for them. But at the end of the day, you just go there and you vote for whoever you want to vote for. And I think that works, though it's not a good thing morally. It's not upright, but you just have to do what you got to do because there's so much poverty.
You don't beg for the money. They came to you with the money,
exactly.
So you don't ask for it.
At the other side of it, people also feel that the money being given to them to vote is actually their own money. It's the taxes that they've paid, that their household have paid, that these politicians have stolen. So it's a way of them getting it back. So if I'm getting it back and I still have my right to be able to vote for whoever I want, then I'll take it because it's a win-win situation. So and I think we're also going to experience a lot of that where people are going to be paid to vote. But I think this time around, people are going to vote for whoever they want to vote, regardless of whoever has paid them to vote. And I think it's going to be really shocking for the incumbent, which is the APC, because the momentum right now, the abject poverty in the land, the maladministration of the government on every level, both local, state, and federal, it's so big that people really feel like there needs to be a change.
So back to Big Brother Nigeria, I'm on the website now, trying to browse my way around to see the picture of the housemate, but I couldn't find where their pictures are, and the website looks so terrible. Looks like website created like
in 1992
or shit like that. So I don't know. You guys have to improve your shit, man. People depends on you, like on internet. We have to search more information about the housemate, trying to check each housemate photos, and if we can find some information, a profile. There should be a profile for each.
I think Nina, she's a student of IMSU. Imo State University, yeah.
I just checked the website now, and there's this girl, Bushola Ayola. I will choose a man that is rich over a man that is good in bed. What do you say about that?
It's her opinion. That's a problem to deal with.
Girl. Okay. It's okay. You can just take the money and buy yourself some dildo. because they feel alright, man. So what else do you have? Big Brother Nigeria is quite boring. The website is boring, and I think the whole show is gonna be boring.
It just started, so it's gonna take a little bit of time for it to get dramatic. So maybe in a couple of weeks' time, we're gonna see what pops up. Because right now, people are just still trying to get acclimated to the different the housemates, and also at the same time to kind of understand their mannerisms, their demeanor, and try to see who they actually like more. So when it comes time to vote, then they know who they actually vote for and who they won't actually vote for. So let's see who gets the
trust me, ladies are going to vote for the guy with 6 packs, and I'm seeing one right now, Bassi.
The thing is, Bassi
showing off 6 packs, man.
A guy is gonna win it this year.
A guy won it last year.
Yeah, FA, yeah. But the good thing is that we're not having these guys who are selling us these stories of being out from the projects and whatnot. Because I think that was the story that FA sold last year. That I hustle, I do this one, I do this one.
I think most in this reality TV, the people with the saddest stories always win. I remember when Uti won. Uti's father died, and he won, like in Big Brother Africa, when his father died and he won same season.
Yeah, I think it comes down to it's a popularity contest, right? And it's people who actually vote. So if you're able to create that emotional appeal, where people have empathy towards you, then that's it. Because that's people can actually relate to that. That okay, you're going through a lot at this point of your life, and we have to be there for you. We have to support you. So I think that actually factor in. And at the same time, if you have the right demeanor that people can relate with, then hell yeah. If you're a really terrible person and something really terrible happens to you, nobody gives a fuck. Because then it would be more like a case of
it's like karma.
Yeah, so
they'll be like, now God punish him.
But if you have catch him. A really good attitude and you have good morals and people can relate with that, and a tragedy happens, then
they're definitely going to
vote for you. I think that works. But the thing is, I don't know what's up with FA. His music career just ended the way it got started. Like I don't know because
the same day, right?
Yeah, because people like. Yeah, people be saying shit about him. Like I don't really know him, but
I don't know. I don't really follow him on anywhere, so I don't know anything about him. He made
25M, so yeah. So it was at least it's enough for him to get his career started. So the whole support he had when he was in there, and the whole the carry last, and
that is one another
to actually rally
things I really wanted to talk about. The carry last. Guy, we already carry last. It depends on where you did. Only way you did worry that you don't carry last. Guy, we don't still worry guys with the carry L, like big one. Like huge L. Tell me that kind of bullshit. As a person who say grow up for Sapila, I know how that area. I tell me worry on the carry last. No. My guy worry boy, they give and local. If 5 people Lagos can't find money.
The thing is, just as much as it's a cliche, right? It works both ways. There are certain times you just try to do that to hype people up. Right?
Yeah, and I just hype though.
And a lot of people within the South, especially Edo and Delta State, they bought into it. And also he had the love of people who were from Buwari, like the comedians. People like I Go Die and other comedians who always use the Buwari not the carry last, and people around the world. So they could relate to that. Like there was just that sense of community and brotherhood that they all got behind him. So,
and you know what's so funny? Right? Then there was a time I left Lagos and I went to Sapele, and then everybody was like, "Oh, Lagos boy, Lagos!" Everybody want to be your friend, you know. Everybody want to make friends with you because you're from Lagos. And then you see a Warri guy or a Delta guy or Edo guy come to Lagos. Nobody give a shit about you. Who you concern them?
It's more like being from like the right hood, right? Like the place that is seen of more.
Yeah, it's pumping.
Yeah, like more supremacy than the other place. Like when I was studying in Abuja, right? And whenever I go back to hometown, I'm seeing like okay, the superstar is here. So it's because like you're in the big city, right? So people just want to like see your perspective about how it's going out there. And everybody wants the best. So if that place is better, then people want to relate. And the same goes for Lagos too. Like when I see Lagosians, right, I have this specific set of respect for them, because for you to be able to live in Lagos, you are a big time hustler. You can actually adapt to living anywhere in the world. Yeah. So each time I'm in Lagos, right, there's just this paranoia within me, because everywhere is just so chaotic.
So busy,
There's so much chaos going on at the same time. So I'm always very wary of where I'm standing and who is standing around me. So for me to meet a person who's from Lagos, who's also a Lagosian, right? I always have this level of respect for them that you survive that city.
And back home, then most of the time when the Lagosian comes back home during the Christmas period, they always get the best girls from the village in the village.
Yeah, and like they come back home.
They come with a lot of swag really and a lot of shit.
Swag, like really good chains, like sneakers, good clothes, and
the dressing and everything. The way they talk, the way they work, the way people was like.
Ironically, they just come back home for that 1 week to show off. But if you are in Lagos and you see them in Lagos, they're totally different.
It's totally different. Yeah.
It's like
it's totally different.
Hustle for that 1 week. They want to come.
No, they're hustling for that for 1 year just to come
show off back home. Like, yo, we're from Lagos and Lagos is the city, and you know what? It's not actually the reality of what they're living.
No, I can't.
The reality is not that.
I think right now, I cannot live in Lagos anymore. If I go back home, no. I'm going to the countryside, man. I'm going to. I'm going local, man. I can't stand the Lagos life anymore. No, it's not for me.
For me, right?
I can't stand it.
If I go back home to Nigeria and I have to live in a particular state in Nigeria, that state for me is Osun State.
Osun, right? No, I'm just going back to Ondo State, man.
The 3 years I spent out there are so memorable. I love Osun State. Like, the food is so cheap. I don't know. Everything. I just love the life out there, like the natural habitat and everything, like the rainforest and everything. I love Osun State.
It might be a nice place.
That's definitely a place I want to retire. Like if I have to move back home to Nigeria.
Lagos. I'm sorry, man. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you, Lagos. I'm so sorry, man. I can't survive the city anymore. The last time I went, I got from airport. I took a taxi. I was going straight to Ondo State. Right, I just took a taxi going straight to Ondo State, and during along the Ore road or whatever, it was like boom, 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 boom. The horn was like, I was like, shit. I'm like, God, like, how am I supposed to survive this shit?
Everybody's impatient.
I can't even. No, it's way too much, man.
Everybody's impatient. People are always honking their horns.
It's too much.
The noise pollution is so much.
Too much
that you just be like, just take me out of here right now. Take me out of here.
And when I was coming back, I spent all day. Like I get to Lagos at night, and I know I'm leaving in the morning, so I don't really have to like go straight to the hotel. Nobody even all my friends. Like I don't see anybody. I was like, no, I'm not ready for this life. I'm not just ready for Lagos life now. I'm not ready for it. So what we have next
on the Other Room podcast?
Yes, sir.
The Other Room podcast, live and direct from Big Keke, Thailand.
Yes, sir. Bangkoli. So just before we go, let's really talk a little bit about this drama on Twitter. I'm always gonna bring you dramas on Twitter every week. Trust me.
I'm trying to catch up with Twitter, man. It's way too much for me.
I love Twitter. That's where you can always find me at Groovin Tony. And the thing
I'm there too, but just on low key.
I'm just there. I just read, laugh, see how delusional people are, and there are a lot of smart people too. I must tell you, like, being on Twitter has actually helped me expand my horizon about certain topics and how I say things. At the same time, it just makes me wonder, like, really, like, where did that thought come from? Like, how stupid can you get? So I've seen both sides of the spectrum. And I want to talk about this case that happened, like, over the week? Yeah, it was last Thursday. Yeah. So it was the case of the rape allegation and kidnapping allegation by Dorcas Shola Fapsin. So she alleged that the Taxify guy was trying to rape her and whatnot. Like, at least you know about the story, right? And I think a lot of people also know about the story. So if you haven't really got any information about the story, just Google like Doka Shola Fapsin and Taxify. So you actually read the stories. There are so many different perspectives to how people see it. But first, I want to see it from the implementation part first. As a platform, as an infotech platform, a ride-sharing platform, the first thing that comes is the issue of trust. How do you actually trust a total stranger to pick you up and take you to a place safely? But with the success of these ride-sharing applications and rentals applications like Airbnb, we've actually grown to trust strangers, right? Yeah. So that's one thing which I think we've actually grown as humans, that we can actually trust people from this app because we believe their information is with the app developers or whoever owns these companies. And now the implementation I'm talking about is Taxify in Nigeria does not require a customer to actually put the destination they are going to when they order for a taxi.
There is one bad thing about that if that happens, because there is no way you order a transportation without the location they're picking you from and the location they're dropping you.
Exactly. So how they came up with that idea?
That is so ridiculous.
I don't know where that came from, because
it's like you're in a shopping site, you order something and there's no delivery. There's no option for delivering.
Exactly. So I don't understand where they're coming from as to making that decision to make their app so open to people to be able to.
That's ridiculous, man. That's so ridiculous.
To order for taxi without a destination, and that's also synonymous to. How can I actually say this now?
That's like let me just say it opens the customer, the rider, to a lot of things, and it opens because the point is, if they drop them somewhere and they don't how they like end the journey, and you don't pinpoint the destination from by them ending, how do you know where they drop them? Like as an IT student,
But before the moment you get to meet the person,
then you now say your destination.
Okay, this is my destination.
So the person have to put in the destination. What if the person put a wrong destination?
I don't know how that works, but I don't know from where they're actually coming up with that idea.
That idea is ridiculous, man.
You can order a taxi.
No, it's ridiculous.
That's just synonymous to when you call a taxi call center to order for a taxi. You just tell them, "Oh, I want a taxi, and this is my location," without actually telling the call center where you're going. Can you do the same thing with call centers? The same thing you're doing with your app, which is Taxify.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That is not. Let me just say, the app, the company and the app is not safe. Because it's not safe.
If you actually have the same set of standard that the industry leaders, such as Lyft and Uber already has, then you would have been able to avoid this situation, because the guy said that he was coming from work when he got the notification that someone ordered a taxi, and he decided to accept and go pick the person up. So if he had seen the location of where the person was going,
he would have.
There wouldn't have been this argument.
I can't go this.
At the same time, he would have also been able to decide if I wanted to go on this trip or not. So that would not have precipitated this whole incident whereby he went there and then they got into the argument of where are you going? And okay, get out of my car because I don't know where you're going. And at the same time, people will be like, and here's one of the things that those who've been on the side of the ladies are saying is that if you try to make sense of this from the male perspective, they've been calling people rape apologists. I don't mind being called a rape apologist because, one, I'm not a rapist. I've never at any point in time pulled brief for rapists. And I do condemn rape as a very despicable act that must not be done in the society. But at the same time, we don't actually speak also about male being raped. Like, oh yeah, the dude we met over the weekend. No names, please. No names, please.
No. He got raped.
Yeah, a dude got raped. He got violated. And he can't actually go to the authorities to report.
And the point is, he was so frustrated. He came to club just to drink out, just to drink away the whole shit.
And then he just shared it with the boys and it's like, I'm just going to leave it there. That's a guy who got raped. But we never hear about these things in the media because of how people expect men to be masculine, to be able to conceal these things. So, at the same time, that's not me holding up that, okay, women being raped is normal or it should be allowed, or men being raped should be allowed. The thing is, it goes both ways. Rape should be condemned in society, no matter the gender who's been affected.
That is fair.
So I don't care if people call me a rape apologist. I don't give a fuck about that.
The point is, we so much engaged into the social media things that even someone with a zero understanding about an issue will just randomly tweet or say something, and people will hold you responsible. Like if you go against that thing, like this thing is not, the opinion is not. We have to work on facts, right? If there's no evidence of rape, most of the time that when they are accused and we forget, like, this is an accusation, it's an alleged thing, and we take it as a fact, right? And if you come out to say, oh, this person has been alleged, not like accused of rape, and there's no evidence of this person raping this person yet, they will call you a rapist apologist, which is like doesn't go that way.
On this case,
we have our opinion.
I don't care if people tag me as a rape apologist, but I'm just trying to make sense of the whole thing. In the sense that, first, if Taxify had actually closed up the loose ends,
exactly. Yeah, I was when I started telling me about the whole things, I was thinking like you have to weigh the two sides, and then you choose which side you can relate with most. But when we started talking about the thing now, I feel like the Taxify, they are to be blamed.
Exactly, because when
they should be responsible for the whole thing.
Okay, this made it to the news because of the person
involved.
Who feels like she's a person with huge followership on social media, so she has a base to appeal to and to put her story out. I believe several incidents as a result of this have happened that people just let go.
They don't even know about it.
And so there are other cases that people just decide to settle it amicably within themselves. But this issue is so much nuanced than it seems, because people just want to be able to take side because a woman accuses you of allegedly trying to rape her, then you're a rapist. But it's more nuanced in the sense that, first, you didn't put a destination in the app. The dude got to the location and asked for the destination. You didn't tell him. You asked him to keep driving. First, that's a sense of entitlement. So that's how nuanced this is. And at the same time, he told you to get down from his car. You chose not to.
Not so.
So it's his property. He can decide whatever he wants.
And again, there's one particular point I want to talk about. So when he took her to his own house, or when he was trying to open the gate and left the key in the car, a real rapist would never leave the key in the car.
Exactly.
And a real kidnapper would never leave the key in the car.
And one thing that could actually lead to all of this is because, one, the language differences.
Yeah.
The insecurity in Nigeria, and especially in Lagos, is also good reasons as to why this happened. In the sense that people are getting robbed, cars are getting jacked, and everything.
There's no CCTV camera, and also, nothing.
Exactly, yeah. And two, she's speaking in the language that the guy
doesn't understand. Yeah.
Does not understand. And at that time of the night,
everybody will be...
he will actually have to be thinking of his own security first.
Yeah, his car...
Just like she's also thinking of her own security too. You see how that language barrier actually plays into it. Because she's on the phone speaking Yoruba, and this guy doesn't understand Yoruba.
He's an Igbo guy.
He's an Igbo guy. So, and you're giving the location to someone on the phone, and the guy doesn't actually know what you're talking about and why you're giving the location.
And there's a lot of kidnapping going on.
Exactly.
Carjacking going on in Nigeria so much that everybody will be scared at night.
So, at that point in time, he's more concerned about his own safety than your safety, because he already told you to get down, and you chose not to because of the sense of entitlement. That's one. At the same time, she's also more concerned about her own security too. That, okay, where's this guy driving me to?
Taking me to, yeah.
So security plays a really big role in all of this, because if that's a place or a location or a country that is very secure and there are CCTV cameras everywhere, then that fear would have not been a factor in all of this. That's one reason I say it's very nuanced. Okay, now the dude felt like, okay, How about I go to a place where I feel more secure?
I feel more safe.
And he drove down to maybe the gate of his house. And then he decided to go open the gate and he removed the key. And here it is. I don't know why he chose to drive there instead of to a more public place.
Yeah, I was thinking he would have go to the police station, report the whole issue.
You could have actually drove down to a place that could have been a common ground for them where nobody is being accused of anything. So on that part of it, I felt like he was wrong. But then the video kind of shows where he was opening the door for her to actually leave. And here it is. She chose to go on Snapchat. So now, it's really so problematic in the sense that now, people are it's good for women to have pepper spray, right? To be able to protect themselves.
Yes,
but I felt like the way she used it was an abuse of pepper spray. And we're going to have a repeated case of women abusing pepper spray. And trust me, with Nigerian boys and Lagos boys, you're going to get your ass
shit
beaten
out of you, man.
If you use the pepper spray on the wrong guy,
don't do it
especially
wrongly.
when you're not at risk of being harmed, you're going to get your ass whooped. That's one thing from this whole drama. And at the same time, instead of her to call for help in a much more realizable way, she decided to go on
calling
Snapchat.
The police. Yeah,
so
calling the police or ask for people to help you out. And the point she said she was waiting for another Taxify driver. For how long? How can you be on Snapchat and the driver is not coming?
No, here it is. If you're waiting for another Taxify driver to come, how are you alleging rape? Is the new Taxify driver going to be the person who's going to save you from being raped? Or the authorities? And here it is. If you are at imminent danger, you can't be Snapchatting.
No, you can't do that.
So
exactly.
There's on the case of motive, I don't really think you can establish the case that the guy has a motive to rape you.
I don't think the guy has any intention of raping her.
Exactly. So
because one of the facts is, if a real rapist, a real kidnapper, will never leave the car the car key.
And usually they don't even work alone.
Yeah, they don't walk alone. Like as soon as they're taking you to where they're taking, they're calling who they're calling.
It's this. I feel like we're living in the age of social media shaming, where people with huge followership, even though a lot of that is fake followers,
claim victims.
So people with followers, they try to always shame other people and claim being the victim at all times. Because if this had happened with people who are just maybe regular people who don't care about their fake social and virtual followership, it's something that could have been resolved. Okay, you claim to be at imminent danger of being raped and be kidnapped, and you felt like the best way to protect yourself is telling your story on Snapchat. Snapchat. Really? People who know me know I have a huge disdain for Snapchat.
I'm so done.
I think
I'm too old for Snapchat.
I don't feel like use it. That's where you can get help. At that point in time, like it's late in the night, you feel like you're being threatened and you're being raped, and you think going on Snapchat is how you can get help.
That's total.
I don't believe that.
It's pure stupidity. Man.
Personally, I don't believe her story of she being at imminent danger of being raped or kidnapped, and I also felt like it's wrong for the dude to have driven the car
back
the car at that point of the night to his place where he went ahead and opened the gate. And at the same time, when the guy opened
that is very wrong of the guy. You don't do that because you're taking the girl to a no location and trying to open the gate. What exactly are you going to do inside?
Now it's more of you trying to protect yourself,
but putting her in danger. Yeah. So if you drive in, how will she know like the place is safe for her, or you're not what she claims you are, like a rapist or something?
The bottom line is that this is just a pure case of disagreement between a customer, between a passenger and a driver.
Disagreement caused by an IT mistake by the Taxify.
So it's not a rape or kidnapping thing. I just feel like this is something that it just happened and now everyone is trying to claim.
Yeah, and the guy now is filing a lawsuit of 5 million. Guy, for what? I don't know why you choose to do that.
If he feels like because the thing is,
it's like defamation.
The thing is he even without hearing from his side, without hearing his own story, like people have already tagged him a rapist, and his family and everybody was blowing up his phone. So at that point in time, he's definitely suffered a couple of trauma, like from being called a rapist, and take it or leave it.
So, but do you think the money will bring joy or bring the happiness or remove the name from you?
At least it doesn't actually do the boy.
But you can just sue her in the court, but not demand the money.
Nobody does that because the legal fees come at you. You have to pay for the legal fees. Who wants to pay for legal fees?
So you have to set a demand first before you sue, like file a lawsuit with that.
Yeah, you have to set that demand because then if you get that money, then you can be able to pay your legal fees.
So it's not all about you trying to clean your name or to make prove yourself innocent.
It helps claim his innocence because she has to tender a public apology in the newspapers or online, wherever this case has been. And if it doesn't come to that,
okay, let me ask you: if she's not popular, if she's not like as she claims a celebrity,
yeah,
would the guy would he have like sue and make a demand of 5 million if she just like an ordinary slave mama or slave queen or like internet?
It comes down to
queen
if she had. Okay, this is actually a hypothetical situation, right? If she doesn't have this
the money, the laws,
right? There's the likelihood that she might not have gone online
and talk about
And if she hadn't have gone online, it's just two disagreements that everybody walks away from. That okay, she probably have reported it to Taxify, and they will just suspend her account, which is not his account, which is normal, and then they'll just resolve it without it actually being a public thing. But now that the case is that, okay, now she has huge followership. Let me just go back to the quick case of this guy, Unilag Olodo, who he got accused by a girl of being raped. Is the case of whereby the girl said the dude gave her head.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the dude gave her head before he raped her. So
wait a minute.
Yeah. No, I don't want to really talk about that case.
Okay.
Yeah. So she said she visited the dude.
Mm-hmm.
And
where?
In Lagos.
His place.
Yeah, at his place. And she has a boyfriend. So she visited him.
She took a head. That is
so she got head. So from him, and then he proceeded to rape her. I don't know about that because I understand consent comes into all of play.
The dot is not connecting.
The reason here is that why I'm actually bringing this case is that the girl does not have the number, like
the Instagram follower or the Twitter follower.
But the dude has it.
Oh, okay.
So she does not really have that online presence, but the dude have it. So his reputation is at stake here. Because the girl just had maybe 500 followers on Twitter. So she's not really that popular. But Unilag Olodo is pretty popular because he has that online platform followed by Don Jazzy and these big guys and people market on his platform. So then the dude said he woke up and he saw like all of this thing, like everywhere blowing up, like his world being just turned up, upside down, like he raped a girl. So you can talk about that. Okay, she's not a slave mama, but she felt like the other guy.
She got violated and she have to speak up.
She has to speak up, but the other guy has more followership. And now the guy filed a lawsuit to clear his name, and the girl is not even turning up. The police has invited her a couple of times to come tell her own story because she told her story on Twitter.
Okay.
So now the authorities have got involved. There's been a police case about this. So now the police have invited her, sent letters to her house, like, come tell your own side of the story to the law enforcement agent instead of being on Twitter. And she has not really showed up from the last.
Come to think of it, do you think the girl would trust Nigeria police? Like, most of the cases, right? You invite someone to come tell their own story and they end up being arrested and be detailed. What if she don't have the money to bail herself out? What if she don't have the luxury to really bail herself out? Because you can't really trust Nigerian police in that case.
Definitely. I get that you can't trust Nigerian police, but you'll be invited to tell your own story because you're the victim here. You're the one who has accused someone of raping you. And there are a lot of NGOs too, and there are a lot of female lawyers too that she could actually call for help. That there are people who actually take up her case pro bono and go stand up for her and tell her, like, let's go to the police. But as of the last time I checked, she didn't honor any of the invitations. And the guy has filed a lawsuit in court for defamation of character.
But he's not demanding for any money.
I don't know if he's making demands, but I know he filed a case because marketers and advertisers have pulled from the
platform. So you
that's
really have to cleanse his name.
So even in the case of this Taxify, even if she had not has that, she didn't have that much followership, and the guy has it, the case would have come out anyway. But if she didn't have a lot of followership and the guy, she basically doesn't even know this guy, it's just a random guy that you order through an app and you're trusting with your life. So she doesn't really know anything about the guy. But if it just been a case of poor people like you and I, who doesn't have really large followership, would probably have just moved on.
Yeah, just let it go.
I remember having a case with an Uber guy, if you remember. The case with the Uber guy that actually dropped me on the road. He's like, oh, I'm no longer going. I'm dropping you. Like, okay, now that's my case. It was like maybe 11 p.m., right? I was going to play soccer. And we got half of the way. It was like, get down from my car. And I had no choice. I got down immediately, like, because it was safe for me. There's CCTV and there's so much light everywhere. But it's not the same thing as Nigeria, right? So I got down from his car. I reported the case to Uber. And Uber called me from Malaysia to like talk about this case. For like 3 days they were calling. I didn't even know who was calling. I didn't pick until they emailed me like, we're calling about the situation that happened that you reported. And I spoke with Uber on the phone and like, we just resolved it. And they're like, okay, when you order Uber next time, you're never going to get this driver again. So that was an amicable resolution.
Exactly. That is a way of solving
because
issues.
I don't know that deal.
Yeah.
I don't have so much followership and I don't think it's a big deal. I just moved on, which I expected him to also move on too. So that would have been one thing, that if both sides didn't have like that media presence or that media prominence, then it would have just been an easy case that would have been resolved easily without getting in the media. So, but if one side has a huge followership and the other side knows.
And I think right now, the major problem we have right now is social media. There's a lot of fake things going on. There's a lot of people giving out fake stories, like telling things just for likes. People randomly made up stories and come on Twitter and just tell a story, like a made up story, like it's a real life thing. That's most of the thing that make me like, most of the time I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, I'm just like, I read, man.
I see that the Nigerian government is trying to regulate social media. And here is it. We know when the government, especially for a country like Nigeria, tries to regulate social media, it's more
political.
It's more like a restriction.
It's a political thing. It's like they don't want the people to talk about anything,
the government. Whatever it is, the term has been sensitive national security issues, which is a very vague term to use. Because it doesn't really go into details, because they can just easily use that against you. And you have activists on the other side like Japhet Omojua, who feels like the social media should not be regulated.
No.
But I feel like social media should be regulated.
Why?
But I just don't trust the government.
What is there's no freedom what happens to the freedom of expression?
Being regulated does not mean that you have to curtail freedom of expression.
So what area they're going to regulate?
It's just that being able to put safeguards there.
Where?
That certain things, it's just like in the US whereby people are free to use social media, but I think you cannot say. It's just like when you post like, the president will die tomorrow, or I'll kill the president on US social media. The FBI will come for you immediately. But if you post the same thing in Nigeria, nothing happens to you.
Do you know you can actually restrict social media with like Facebook? You can have an agreement with Facebook, like we want to restrict things like this. Like this algorithm. Like if someone says something like this, we want to trigger alert the government without even telling the people. You can actually do that.
The government actually does something similar in the sense that they request, according to Amnesty International, the government of Nigeria requests for the data of certain people on Facebook. Like they've done that almost like maybe 30 to 100 times.
That's wrong. You don't.
Yeah. So,
no,
but the thing is
more like spy.
Yeah. So the thing is that we don't know if.
No, you don't request for people's data. No, you don't do that.
We don't know if Facebook has been able to give this data to the Nigerian government, but Amnesty International has a report on that.
No.
The thing is, I feel like social media should be regulated. It's just like even Facebook itself regulates the platform from time to time. That's why you cannot open a Facebook page without real information, or at least compared to before, where you can actually open it with an alias without real data, like compared to now, it's been regulated. And just like how you have this purge that comes up like every year on Twitter, whereby they purge people with fake followership, the people that have bots are followers, where they just purge it out. And
Facebook does the same thing too. If you receive a message from an account, someone just create an account just like to catfish or catfishing account, they always like deactivate the account because they don't have like there's no verification.
Exactly. It took time for them to be able to regulate this. But I think a point that people are missing is that because the government wants to regulate social media does not mean it wants to restrict.
But can you really trust Nigerian government with regulating?
There's that distrust or mistrust towards the government.
They will use it in a political way. They want to spy on their political opponent.
It's not coming from a genuine place.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, that people feel like it's not genuine. I definitely agree that social media in Nigeria should be regulated. But
in a way I agree because most of people on Facebook, like people I know, they just randomly sharing chain messages. Like it's annoying, They just come up with some idea, just like randomly posting something that is not true. And there's no way you can tell them this is fake.
And I haven't really seen a draft of what they're trying to regulate. So if I see a draft of it,
they should make it public.
Exactly. When I see a draft, and maybe we'll be able to actually I'll be able to have a defined stance on this. But with the way it stands and the way people use social media back home in Nigeria, I feel like it needs to be regulated. Because in a place where there's no rule then, or there's no law, then there's basically no sin. And why I'm saying this as to regulating social media in Nigeria is because I've actually taken a class that has to do with social media and regulations, new media rules and regulation. That was maybe my third semester of grad school. So,
social media ethics.
So I was able to actually see the different arguments that scholars and intellectuals have made about these things, which is why I actually believe that it should be regulated. But with the country being the way it is, then there's that level of suspicion that this thing is not coming.
There's no trust yet. The people doesn't trust the government, and the government can do anything and use it politically.
If the government makes it public and a better explanation as to how it's being formed and the plans, then we could actually be able to see that, okay, this is something we can relate with, and this is something we'll be like, okay, it doesn't curtail freedom of information or freedom of expression, because definitely it's one of the basic human rights that under no circumstances do we have to cut it, except on national security grounds, which I understand. So that's what it is.
And so what is the conclusion on the issue with the Shola Fabsin thing?
The thing is that
you have to stay
Taxify is investigating, but at the same time I feel like for this not to happen again, they just need to update their app and
sometimes, right? Sometimes IT companies, right? They think like innovation is actually good, right? But there are some there's some innovation you really have to just because you want to be different, you want to create a total different platform, you want to be innovative, you want people to have different look of your own company so that you will not be categorized with the same competitive manner with other big names. Doesn't mean you have to open a loophole in your own company. It's not done like that.
Yeah.
Right? There's a way you can copy people's idea and innovate it and make it innovation doesn't mean it has to be original. There's a way you can modify people's idea. That is what innovation, make it look better or look good. Right? There's a way you can do that. Uber is a big ass company. We have other Grab Taxi here, everything. People now, there's a way you can actually do it. Use your GPRS to monitor every location. There's more of hotspot, right? You know everywhere they get through. If the taxi driver is going, so you know the road, you know where they get through. It's just easy things. Why do you have to
The thing is, I feel like
the taxi without even destination. It's not done like that.
From a competitive advantage, they're trying to just give people more reasons to patronize them more than Uber. But I think it's
that is not adding anything. It's not adding anything. If you're reasonable enough, that is not good for your own safety, because nobody knows. The admin of this application doesn't even know where you're going. Not until what if the person doesn't have internet, or they don't have
The thing is, I feel like
they're not really quite good.
They're not really looking at selling their brand as a local brand, that people need to support them as a local brand, which I think is something a lot of people can relate with, in the sense that we're trying to support more of our local brands than a multinational company or a corporation that's foreign owned. That's a place they could actually sell in. And Uche from Taxify is very popular too on Taxify. On Twitter, because he's always sending people emails. So people like, if the day I will catch this Uche guy or this Uche guy. So that's also a way of
promoting yourself.
That people will be like, this Uche guy itself. So you could actually use Uche as a way of actually selling yourself.
And Uche can actually be on Twitter.
so I don't really know why they chose to use that. Because
no, that is so bad. No, as an IT student, thinking of like not just an ordinary IT student, like a software engineering student. So I know that the whole thing is totally wrong, man. It's bullshit. I'm not going to blame any of those people. I'm not going to blame the girl. I'm not going to blame the guy. I will put my blame on Taxify.
Because they created
a shit. That is like the platform and no. There's no way you can actually. You should be ashamed.
Because if there was not. There wasn't that really. I won't really say it's a loophole, because they intentionally left it open. But it's creating more problems than they would have probably envisaged. And now that also brings me to an issue that a lot of people have been complaining about on Twitter when it comes to using, I think, Taxify a lot of times. The drivers have a way of spoofing the location. In the sense that they download a third-party app. So with that app, they spoof their GPS location. So in the sense that when they take you to maybe a place of maybe 10 kilometers, right?
Yeah, it's within,
let's just say 30 minutes or whatever. Then on the map, it shows that they've taken a route that goes maybe like 20 to 30 kms.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you get charged more. And people have actually been figuring this out, that Taxify drivers are doing that. And that's bad for business. And the thing is, I've not experienced it, but do I believe it? I believe it because
might be true.
We have multiple people who have been reporting this. And knowing Nigerians for who they are.
So they extend your journey, even though your journey is really short.
Yes. Because the thing is, they download a third-party app that spoofs the GPS.
Okay, so like we have the same thing.
It shows the route
in Thailand.
Longer,
you know, there's a way they can adjust the meter of the taxi and read faster.
The taxi meter where it reads faster. So now it's just a manipulation of the GPS system using a third-party app.
That is a shitty security. That is a shitty security.
So I think the same app too can work with Uber, but people have been complaining about it. So I think it's both Uber and Taxify, but Nigerians who have been using these ride-sharing apps,
Uber will find a way to it's like,
so these people,
if something like that happens and you complain to Uber will do the next update, like app update, which would like cancel the whole vulnerability.
Yeah. And the thing is, these people are not really doing anything like to react to the complaints of customers. Because I know a lot of customers have been complaining about these things where their location is being spoofed and they have to pay more. So it's really bad, because each time a new innovation that works everywhere else comes to Nigeria, Nigerians just find a way to screw it up. Look at the case of Konga Delivery Man on pay on delivery. So, which I think is really good for business.
It's a really good idea.
It's convenient more for the customers, right? Where you order things online
and you pay.
When it gets
so if you don't have a credit card,
but
you
now
can just
Nigerians are starting to attack delivery men. So I don't just
you
get
guys
it.
have to do better, man.
Honestly, it frustrates me.
Make life easier.
You have this technology that goes back home and people really start to abuse it. These things work everywhere else. Why do we have to be different ones? Where you go back home, then it doesn't work. Now people are starting to spoof ride-sharing apps. Like, really? So I don't get it. You want the status quo to change from the politician standpoint, but you as a person who's being governed, you're not changing.
I don't get it. A real-time crook as well, man.
And that also takes me to something I've always been talking about on this podcast, End SARS.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that last week.
The atrocities of SARS is going on every day. People are getting violated. God. And I just hope like
what exactly the government are doing about it? Like government is not doing anything.
It's as clueless as the past government. There's basically no change from the past government because you just have this set of corrupt people who the only thing they just did is they change parties. And one of the major problems I have with Nigerian parties is that there is no ideology. That okay, now we have the Republican Party, which is more of a conservative ideological standpoint, and we have the Democrats who are more liberal, right? Liberal, yeah. And you have certain people too who are centrist, but they lean more towards liberal views and everything. Then you have people who are purely centrist and they're more independent. So these are platforms that has ideological grounds on which they stand. But no Nigerian party has an ideological standpoint on which they stand. So that's why it's so easy for Nigerian politicians to change.
They just have a political ambition. There's no political ideology.
When we have these people, these clueless people who basically have no knowledge of what they're doing, how do they actually impact the staff, the officers who are working under them?
We have Senator Dino there.
Dino is just doing whatever it is
on social media singing. Just come on, man. This guy can do better. I don't know. And the hands man, they are like going into villages, killing people. And I saw this outside guy that was talking when we went to cut our hair at the salon. He was like, say most of those handsmen, like, they are not really Nigerian. Like, they came from Chad, Niger. And the thing is, like, the point is the northern part of Nigeria opens the border for them to come in. And they came in, they married the Hausa, they married the Fulani. So there's no way you can really differentiate them. And he said most of the people who come like around, like selling teas, shoemakers, selling Indomies and things in Lagos, they're actually not Nigerians.
The thing is, as much as I think a bit of that is true, but a bit of it is also false, because I know a lot of Nigerians, Chadians that are actually in Lagos who are doing these things that you're saying, that they're selling these things and whatnot. But there are also lots of people
from the north,
who are actually there in Lagos. So it's a mixture of both, because they have very similar and common culture. How do you
identify that? You cannot differentiate it because they speak Hausa, they speak Fulani, they speak the same language. There's no way you could know.
I feel like there's this attitude of the Hausas to always deflect or look for a scapegoat.
Whenever find a way of like it wasn't it.
When Boko Haram got to its peak, Hausa people were
they said no, it's not. They're not Nigerians.
They're not Nigerians.
But how the fuck you open your border for those people to come in?
As much as I know that our borders are porous and people are coming in, but at the same time, people who are committing these atrocities are Nigerians and they're Hausas and they're Fulanis. When Niger Delta militants blow up, when they blow up refineries or they blow up pipelines, we don't deny them.
Yeah,
we are both.
We accept them. We accept them. These are people. They're doing it.
People, and they have their own grievances towards the government. We don't say,
we don't say they came in wrong. Yeah, we don't say they came in
wrong. We just take it upon ourselves. These people are
these are us.
But you just have people from the north. They are very nepotistic. There's a lot of nepotism going on from the northern part of the country. And
I think they just have to, and the point is the government, they're not doing anything about the whole thing, because also they have this superiority complex. Like when I was talking to the guy, he said, we're the majority. I was like, dude, you're not the majority, because you allow the people from Chad, from Niger to actually come in and you count them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not the majorities.
Personally, that's one of the reasons why I just feel like there needs to, either now or later, there needs to be a division of Nigeria. Like, the Northerners have to go, because take it or leave it, we basically don't share common ideologies.
No.
Especially when it comes to culture,
so different.
Religion,
everything so different.
Moral values, and
everything is different.
And these things, we don't share a lot in common. And we take it as a responsibility upon ourselves to take responsibilities for things that happen under our watch from the southern part. But you have these northerners coming up with bullshit stories of how people who commit atrocities are not from Nigeria or from the northern part of the country. When militants blow up pipelines, we take responsibilities for it.
Yeah, they
so
always
take responsibility. We know there's a lot of problem in the north that needs to be solved because of religious radicalism and poverty, which makes sense to me that, okay, we can work on fixing these things. But when you start to deny and you start to look for scapegoats, then it just affects the whole
and the government, and most of the government, they're so scared of the northern part, they can't even say anything.
Exactly.
I'm so scared of them. What exactly is there to be scared of?
They start to send like military personnel to go handle.
Yeah, you go send people to go kill some people. Now the henchmen, they're coming into villages, coming into, even going out of the northern state, coming into the southeast and everywhere.
Say you heard it here first. If the Nigerian government does not actually look for an amicable way to solve this herdsmen problem,
it's going to be a huge fight.
It might actually be what leads to a civil war in Nigeria. Because people from the southern part are starting to arm themselves. They're starting to get arms and ammunition. And when they see these Fulani herdsmen within their properties, they're probably going to kill them.
Straight up, man.
And at that point, it becomes a lawless situation whereby people are taking laws into their hands because the government can actually guarantee the law and uphold it. So we do not actually want this situation where things degenerate into that where
when the government just have to do something, man. You have to do something about it. Straight, they have to do something because there's been a lot of complaints, and I was watching Buhari's interview talking about the henchmen. What he was saying, I was like, dude, man, I don't know, man.
Needs to go.
They have to retire. Just get the fuck out of that place, man.
I don't know, like he sold himself on the banner of anti-corruption, and at the end of the day, his government is just as corrupt as the last government. So he needs to cut that crap and go back home.
And I don't know if this is true. The news, I was reading news that say one of the head of the Nigerian spy organization is actually from Chad.
I don't know. Like, how do you actually differentiate these Chadians and Nigerians from Nigerians?
From Nigerians. So from the Northerners, not from Nigerians. From the Northerners.
They're Nigerians. Because they come from the North, doesn't really matter. So I don't know. But that's just to piggyback to what I was saying before we got to that line. There needs to be change in the status quo because SARS, we need to end SARS brutality.
Straight up, man. SARS,
they commit different crimes. First is the invasion of privacy, where they have to forcefully open people's mobile phone or computer systems. Then secondly is the case of brutality, whereby they beat people up. Then thirdly is the case of, I would even say it's kidnapping, because they forcefully
more of kidnapping. They take you and they demand for ransom.
They extort money from people. So it's more like legalized kidnapping. And fourth, it's corruption, because you're getting money from people that have not committed any crime. And this, if it continues, could lead to lawlessness. So that's why I feel like, just like people have said in the past, like Nigeria is a ticking time bomb that could blow up any goddamn time.
Now.
Because if you look at this case of headsmen, you look at the SARS brutality, and we actually saw videos, right, in Ogun State, whereby people actually vandalized a police station in Ogun State. Because the SARS officers shot a guy and he passed away. So when these things continue to happen, the youth will take laws into their hands. And then there will be breakdown of law and everything will just... So I don't really think it bodes well for us if we continue the way we're going with
government have to really act fast and quick to stop this. There's no way people, the citizens of the country can be complaining about brutality, and you as a government, you're not even doing anything. There's no safety. People doesn't feel safe in their own country. You can't even feel safe to work at night without being stopped. Now we're not scared of armed robber anymore. We're scared of the SARS.
Yeah, people were supposed to protect you. People are being paid with your taxes.
Normally, we used to be scared of armed robber at night, but now you have to be scared of
It's even
SARS.
Broad daylight that a lot of these atrocities are being committed. And I really have a problem with Nigerians in the sense that when an atrocity is being committed publicly, everybody just stands there and watch. Or the worst, the best they could do is just take a video. Nobody actually steps in and be like,
what exactly are you going to do? Like, it against you as a civilian and someone who has a gun. They can call for backup and and say you're trying to take the gun from them. Police, they can lie a lot.
When these things are happening in a public place and people take it upon themselves to intervene, at that point, there is a bit of restraint on the part of the SARS. Because they know that, okay, if this spirals out of control, then they would have been like, okay,
Nigeria right now, before, when I was growing up, it used to be like, if you see two people fighting, people will come separate, intervene and separate you and let you go. But right now, it's not like that.
Everybody wants to get on Insta.
Yeah. And again, people are more scared of their own life. Like, now me won't go die. No. Yeah. You know, like things like this, because the government is not, they're not even giving people hope.
Why are people scared to die? Is because when people die, we just move on.
Yeah, there's nothing happened.
We just move on. Okay, look at the death of so many iconic people like Ken Saro-Wiwa, who's an environmentalist, right? An environmental activist. And with all of the things he fought for, there's still a lot of environmental pollution and degradation going on within the Niger Delta, but being done by these oil companies. Look at Gani Fawehimi, who fought for human rights. But look at today now, where there's so much of human rights violations.
Violation, yeah.
So, and normal, look at people who've been killed by SARS or people who've tried to stand for other people's human rights. The other thing is that after a couple of days, we just move on. And people realize this, so they don't want to die.
Nobody want to die anymore. Nobody want to die.
With that being said,
so we are hanging out tonight, episode 8 of the Other Room podcast. We've been your host, so I don't know if I have to introduce myself again. My name is Joel, aka Authority _Joel on Twitter and Instagram. Then my second host.
My name is @GroovingTony on Twitter, Anthony. So checking out
on Instagram too. So please watch our video, subscribe to our channel, and like the video, comment. And if you have anything you want us to talk about or you want us to shout it out, just do it. We'll shout it out in our next episode. This is episode 8 of the Other Room podcast. We're signing out.
Yes,
peace.
Sir.